All right, welcome into Prop 5 here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Make sure you sign up for Prize Picks. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E. You get that initial deposit matched up to $100. Of course, right now you cannot play in the state of Florida, but you can play in over 30 other states. So make sure you check it out, including the state that Major's in. We'll introducing you in a second. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick and 5 Reasons Sports. I got Greg Sylvander. You can follow me at Greg Sylvander. And Major Passage, you can follow him at Major_Passage on Twitter. Also covers the Skyforce for us. Sioux Falls, unfortunate end for them, but we'll talk about that another time. Let's get to the props tonight. Big NBA night. Of course, the Miami Heat can still finish anywhere between 6 and 8. And we're watching another game tonight, so we'll get into that. But the Heat are hosting Toronto at the arena. Again, if you're going to play any of these, use the code 5 FIVE. You got to play at least two. But you can also pair it with baseball, NHL, or anything else. Again, use the code 5 FIVE. All right, let's get to the Heat and the Raptors. Greg, they put them up, they took them down, they put them back up again. They got 3 players on there right now, and 2 of them have been extraordinarily inconsistent of late, which is Bam and Jimmy. So I'll just ask you this: if you had to play a prop for either of them, which would you choose? Against the Raptors, of course, they're trying to lose.
So for me, and everyone's going to think I'm such a homer here, but I don't care. I'm taking Bam's points. We talked about this pre-show. I think he's going to get some offensive juice in this game. 19.5 is what it's been bumped up to with Rozier being ruled out. So it was at 17.5 earlier today. If you got in early, that was a value play now. But I think it's deceiving a little bit. He's averaged 14 over his last 5. I think that tonight is a game where Toronto doesn't really have anyone who can guard him. I think he'll get some early and often buckets. So I'm taking Bam Adebayo over 19.5 points if I have to choose a Jimmy or a Bam prop, because there's another Miami Heat prop I like even better.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Bam at 11.5 rebounds seems a little high to me. Again, I don't trust the Heat to blow anybody out, even with what they did to Portland. But if they're going to blow somebody out, you would figure it'd be a team that's trying to lose. So it concerns me to play any of the Heat over tonight, I guess, because I don't know what that fourth quarter is going to look like. And as I say that, it'll probably end up being a clutch game. Major, would you play either of those two?
If I had to choose one, I'm probably choosing Jimmy over 21.5 points. He's hit it 3 of the last 5, and one of the 2 he didn't. He was right there. I feel like that's the best one for Bam or Jimmy. He said they both just been inconsistent. I don't really trust them to show up in the stat line as much as the numbers say right here.
That's fair. All right, let's get to the third guy, Tyler Hero. His points are elevated, obviously, because he's been doing the scoring of late. That's who you're playing, Greg?
Yeah, but I like his rebounds. So I was on this from early today. He is at 5 rebounds, and he has surpassed that or hit that in all 5 of his last 5 games. He's averaging 5.6 rebounds as well. This is the no-brainer Miami Heat prop for me. Tyler Hero more than 5 rebounds on Prize Picks.
Yeah, that seems kind of fair. Also, again, he looks like he's got live legs as opposed to his teammates. So playing the rebounding there is pretty fair. That's probably what I would play also. On the Toronto side, a couple of props I like, and a Major, you and I were talking about this quickly. Over was 18.5 points. Going to get the bulk of the scoring here. And here's the one thing. If teams are playing to lose, that can be manipulated by the coach and it can be manipulated by the front office. So you might see him come out in the fourth quarter, but he's also playing for a contract. Players will manipulate their stats to benefit themselves, particularly when you're a team that's going nowhere. So I would play quickly over. And the other one I would play over tonight is KO, Kelly Olynyk, who just killed the Heat with Utah this year and has typically since he's left. I would play KO. You like either of those, Major?
Yeah, the quickly points. Also, just talking about Hero real quick with the rebounds. I expect there to be a lot of rebounds in this game. So that's another thing to go with it from the Heat side and Toronto. But quickly, I think, like you were saying, a bad team, they kind of manipulate stats. They play a little bit differently. This is a perfect opportunity for quickly to be selfish. The Heat don't have the best, guard defense either. So I think it's kind of like a matchup made in heaven. Not saying he's going to shoot great, but I mean, there's no reason for him not to get like 20 shots or more. So he should be able
Yeah.
to hit 19 points.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Yeah, those again seem pretty fair. I'm not going to say anything about Sunday's game because after if you're
Yeah.
Toronto, you might as well enjoy the South Beach Flu down here on Saturday, and your season ends on Sunday. All right, the other game that we're watching carefully today, there are a couple games. The Cleveland Indiana game is kind of interesting. I like Obi Toppin over tonight. He's been over constantly lately. I think he's at 8.5 points. That is
So low.
that's a gimme. Yeah, he's been double figures consistently of late. They've been leaning on him a little bit for his athleticism, particularly as Halliburton has faded somewhat here down the stretch. Of course, that's an important game for both Indy and Cleveland. But the other game let's talk about is Orlando and Philadelphia tonight. Greg, it's an Embiid night, right?
That's where I'm heading. I'm not afraid of his points being all the way up at 31. I'm going over. Take more than 31 points from Joel Embiid. This is one of those games where he probably gets 40. I would expect that they're going to dump it down to him a ton. This is one of those games for Joel Embiid. I'm all in on that prop for sure.
And Major, anything else you like in that one?
I like Oubre over 14.5 points. Hit it all last 5, averaging 20.6. His lowest point total is 17. So he's hit it pretty comfortably. Good spot for him, I think. He's been killing it recently. I'm going to ride the hot hand.
Yeah, Embiid's props are down. So like I said, probably people were smashing it so much that they ended up taking them down right now.
You got to get them early.
Yeah, got to get him early. Oubre has been killing it ever since Tobias Harris went out, and Philly fans seem to want that to continue. Tobias has not been the most popular with them. All right, play any of this on Prize Picks. Use the code 5. Again, we mentioned state of Florida, not yet available again at this point, but many other states, including the state of Georgia, Major, and others in our network who are around the country. Our guy Ross up in Massachusetts. You can play it there. You can play it in California. So plenty of states. Just check it out on the website, prizepicks.com. Find out if you are able to play. We'll also be posting these on Twitter. If you are following us, make sure that, of course, you follow us on Playback during the Heat games. Subscribe to Off the Floor, which is our Heat Discord. And also the post-game show tonight. I'll be on with Greg after the game live here on the channel. Have a good one, everybody.